Okay, thank you all for coming. Today it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Feng-Bin Wang from Taiwan. Actually, he has a 3 affiliation. His primary university is a full professor at the Chang University of Taiwan. Yeah. And he's the center scientist of, there is a national level, actually, National Center for Theoretical Science. There is a big institute there. And also, he's also research fellow in the Community Medicine Research Center in the Chang Memorial Hospital. Basically, he has a huge experience of real math, actually, theoretical stuff applied to real problems such as ecology, epidemiology, there's so many disease and population dynamics, those kind of things. He has a lot of things, and he has more than 60 publications already in very respected math journals, and also he has been awarded several awards, including Young Scientist Award from Taiwan National Institute. So he's a well-known figure for real theoretical stuff, but it's still applied to the real epidemiology and ecological mathematics. Now today he'll be talking about some of the things like he did for our non-local reaction diffusion model of West Nile virus with vertical transmission. It's you, Dr. Wang. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Professor and Amin for the invitation. So I had this chance to visit here again and share some of my recent work. And today I'm going to talk about the transmission of the Western Nile virus. With the vertical transmission. Okay, I will mention it later. Western Nile virus is serious here. Yeah, right. But in Taiwan, we actually we don't have Western Nile virus, but another one called dengue is serious. Okay. So this is my outline. First, I will talk about. I will briefly introduce the Western Nile virus, and I will talk about the 2 models. And my model will include incubation, and with the vertical transmission. And another one is the other one is include the spatial variation, because the bird or mosquito can move. So probably we need to include this mechanism. And then I will show some numerical result. Okay. Yeah, Nami told me I don't need to show the detailed mathematical analysis. So I will just mention the result, and I will give the detailed mathematical analysis. So actually, the motivation comes from these 2, mainly come from these two papers. Okay. And initially, the model is simple. They did not include the vertical transmission. They did not include the spatial variation. They did not include incubation. But when I submitted my paper with the radiation diffusion, but it doesn't contain the incubation and the vertical transmission. But the referee challenged us a lot. The referee mentioned and Western Nile virus, for the Western Nile virus, it's very important to include the vertical transmission. Okay, and you can see when we include the vertical transmission. Okay, vertical transmission means when the parent had the parent was infected by the virus, and it is possible to pass the virus to the offspring. It's a so-called the vertical transmission. Okay, with the probability. Okay, but in dengue, we usually ignore the vertical transmission. I don't know. So sometimes, my experience, sometimes the referee, and sometimes our paper was rejected by the reviewer. But sometimes you can learn something, okay? Because their comment, probably their comment, sometimes their comment is very good, and you can have some extension, okay? But of course, some referee is not, some report is not good. That is just reject your paper and just say it's not interesting. But it doesn't give you any reason. Okay, but no problem. Next one probably will be better. And my talk are based on my recent paper and in science paper and the Journal of Nonlinear Science is two paper. Okay, let me briefly mention the Western Nile virus. The Western Nile virus is an infectious disease produced through the interaction of bird and the mosquito. It's the Western Nile virus. But in Taiwan, the dengue is very serious. The dengue is spread through the interaction of human and the mosquito. So it's different. The mechanism is different. And yeah, I mentioned so birds are known to be the natural reservoir of this virus, and it is transmitted from bird to bird by mosquito. And human and other animals are better and host. They can be infected, but they cannot transmit the virus. Okay, so it's the difference. Okay, many infected person remain asymptomatic, and they only show some milder flu-like symptoms. And only very few infected people can develop serious illness. Okay, and so far no specific treatment for this virus. So infected people can also receive they can only receive some supported treatment. Okay, so the control strategy is to, of course, to reduce the mosquito and to protect ourselves. That's to prevent the biting of mosquito. So far, we just have this strategy. And let me introduce some notation. So first, the female, the mosquito will divide into larvae and the adult mosquito. Okay, so the larvae is L. So, and I mentioned because we want to discuss the vertical transmission. So for the larvae, we have susceptible larvae and the infected larvae. Infected larvae come from their parents. Okay, and for the mosquito, they were divided into susceptible and infected. Okay, in the classical model, we usually consider the susceptible and infected. That's because they do some simplification. They assume, and when the individual is infected by the virus, then he can immediately have the ability to infect other individuals. But it's not true, right? It should take some time to produce more virus, and then they can have ability to infect other individuals. So in this more, sorry.
So do mosquitoes infect each other?
No, they infect the birds.
So a mosquito can only get the virus by biting a bird that's infected.
Yeah. And the bird be infected by mosquito, right? So we introduce this class, the sports class. Okay, EV. Okay, we will model it later. And
So that means larva does not infect actually, right?
you mean that?
Larva, they are infected because of vertical transmission, but once they are infected, they don't infect others. Right?
No, yeah. We assume it has no ability to infect. I'm not sure if we can.
Yeah.
It probably has
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you mentioned, we discussed some project, but it's for the class. Sometimes they also have ability to infect other individual, right?
Exposed mosquito,
Right.
that's possible, I think, maybe.
But for my project, I assume it
Okay.
cannot. Okay. Otherwise, we will be very complicated. And for the first configuration, yeah, we also it is also divided into susceptible, exposed, and infected, and also it can recover. So for the first class, we also consider the remove group. Sometimes we say the recover class, recover.
Do birds die from this? Do birds die? They have a mortality from this disease?
Yes.
Okay.
So we will.
So does RR include dead birds?
Yeah. So we will include the natural death. In the model, we will have a natural death rate.
Yes.
And also.
Yes, very good point. It includes the natural death, and when the bird die, it's lying on the ground, but it still mosquito can come and bite and get infected. Do you have dead birds?
No.
No, right? It's a very good point.
Okay. Yeah, otherwise it will be very complicated.
Okay.
So you will see this model is very complicated. Okay. Then I just mentioned another two notation. NV is the newly occurred infection mosquito, and MI is the newly occurred infection bird. And it can be determined later. I will show you. So I go to this picture. So here, this is a susceptible larvae. This is the infected larvae. Okay. For the susceptible larvae, it comes from the parents. This one SV, this is a adult mosquito. So it comes from the SV, EV, IV. Okay. So here, they consider it comes from the SV and the EV here, and also it can come from the IV. But I mentioned that we talk about the vertical transmission. So it has a ability to go to this class. Okay, so it's the sigma. And the V is the birth rate. So you can see the susceptible larvae come from this turn and this turn. The sigma is the probability. The infected parent can infect the offspring. Okay, so you can see here. You can see the equation is like this one. Okay, this birth rate. Okay, and of course, it has a natural death rate. Okay, and it will become it can become the adult class. Can go to the adult class with maturation, this maturation rate. So you can see the equation is this one, like this one. But here we also assume we also add this term. And the K is the so-called carrying capacity. That means the environment is limited. Okay, so it cannot only give a limited resource. So we add this term. And for this class, this infected larvae, it comes from the IV, which is probability. So also it can go to the IV class with the maturation rate, and it is the natural death rate. So you can see the second equation is like this one, and this one is the carrying capacity.
Does this disease have any effect on the mosquitoes themselves? Does it increase mortality?
You mean
And infected mosquitoes, is their mortality increased by being infected by the virus?
yeah, and here mosquito we did not consider, we did not include this magazine. We don't assume we don't include this effect. For the bird, yes, here.
Oh, yeah, for the bird, okay.
Right. But I'm not sure it makes sense to include the disease mortality for mosquito. I don't know.
I don't know either, actually.
It was proposed by the previous paper. I just follow it and do some extension. Okay, and for this class, it's about mosquito. For the sustainable class, the sustainable mosquito of course come from this class. Okay, and it has the natural death rate. And the sustainable mosquito can infected by infected birds. Okay, and then you move to the exposed class. So the exposed class, of course, it has a natural death rate, and it comes from the SV. Okay, and I mentioned this term represent the newly occurred infectious mosquito. But because we introduce the incubation period, okay, so we will have this term. And the IV comes from the EV, and also it has the natural death rate. And this one can infect, the infected mosquito can infect the healthy bird. I will show it later. And IV can also come from LB2. It's a infected larvae. Okay, with the maturation. So you can see the governing equation is that this one. SV, EV, and IV, just from the picture. But here I need to mention that we also include, probably Namin can give me some, can help me. But here we also introduce this term. Okay, the total population of birds. Yeah. But I know some equations don't have this term.
You need to have here in both vector as well as in bird. You need to divide by the bird population. Because there is a mathematical expression, because there is only number of times mosquito bites, and that you have to distribute among the humans. Okay. For biting rate is alpha D is a biting rate, right?
Yeah.
By one mosquito, and then you distribute them, and that's actually kind of rate probability, and that's where you get NR. So there is a detailed math, but you get NR in both of them. Okay.
Yeah, biologically introducing this term will be more reasonable, but mathematically.
No, biologically that can be calculated, and you need NR in both of them because when this is strange, when mosquito infect, then mosquito bites. When birds, right? But when mosquito gets infected, it's still mosquito bites. Bird does not bite mosquito. So that's why you still have NR. That's the mathematical way expressing, but biologically correct. You need NR.
Okay. But when we do the analysis, we need to study the so-called whale hypothesis. That means we given some initial data and for this equation, and then we want to study the solution. But you can see, because of this term, the initial data cannot be zero, right? So it's actually it can give us some mathematical problem. But I will show you later. Okay. Okay. For the further class, it's a susceptible bird. We assume it as a constant, a given recruitment, and then this is the death rate. And yeah, it can be infected by this one. So, and then it was infected by IV. Then it become the exposed class. And for the exposed class, it also has a natural death rate. And then it become the IR. So this term represent the newly occurred infectious birds. And here, of course, we have a natural death rate. And here we have the mortality due to the disease. Okay. And then it's a recover rate. So you go to this class, and it's the natural death rate. And here for birds, and it can lose the immunity. That means the recover class can become the susceptible again. Okay, with this rate. So you can see this is our model. Okay. But now we need to determine this term and this term. So now I talk about incubation. Okay, in the previous in the practical model, and some author the talk about the incubation, and then always assume the incubation period is a constant. Okay, I think it makes sense. But we found in some literature we found actually the incubation period can depend on temperature. So it doesn't mean it can probably depend on time. So we assume the incubation period is the time period. Okay. And then I'm not going to show the detail, but you can if you are interested you can take a look at this paper. You can read this paper. In this paper they can divide the newly occurred mosquito with in the incubation is like this one. Similarly, the for the bird class is this term. So you can see if tau is a constant, then this term can be ignored. And of course, this one can be simplified. But here tau V, tau R is time depend on time. So it was very complicated. Okay. So if we substitute the NV and the NR and sub R into our equation, then it takes this form. Yeah, I know it was very complicated.
Is that like a delay?
Yeah, with delay. But the delay is not constant. Yeah. So for the convenience, we replace our notation by U sub U1, U2 to U9. Okay, and then it looks like this form. Of course, it's complicated. Okay. And now I need to talk about, okay, when we study the real hypothesis, that means we need to give some initial data for the solution, and then we can find the solution. So and when we do this, when we give in the initial data, we need to be very careful. That's because for the system, it has some natural condition or the compatibility condition. For example, for this equation and this equation, it can be rewritten as the integral form. This one. So if the t equals and the seventh equation can be rewritten as this form. So now we can take a t equals 0. Then we will have these two the initial condition. Okay. So we need to choose carefully for U4, U sub 4, and the U sub 7. Okay, and before we study the real hypothesis, we consider the mosquito population. So here, this U1 and U2 represent the larvae. So this term represent the total population of larvae. And this one represent the total population of a total mosquito. Then we substitute these two terms into into our system, and then we can find two simple equation, and which are decoupled from the other equations. Okay. So sometimes I say this is the mosquito population model, and we can you can imagine if no mosquito, then I think we don't have the virus, right? And now if we have mosquito, we have the virus. So the first stage is to control the mosquito. So we study the mosquito population model. Okay. So for the model, we can. I'm not sure the abstract statement. I just show you some result. For the equation 10, you can see the trivial solution is always a solution. I mean, L equals 0, M equals 0 is always a solution. It's a so-called trivial solution. And then we linearize this system and that is the solution. Okay, so we can find we can get the fail system. And now we want to study. Yeah, after COVID, I think everyone will understand the so-called reproduction number, right? Okay, so I will not to display it. Okay, now we want to study the index, the so-called reproduction, the mosquito reproduction number. We linearize the mosquito equation and the trivial solution. Then we attend the linear system. And how can we, because our coefficient depend on time. Not just because the temperature is important for the mosquito, for the mosquito's growth. Okay, you will see some data. We will see data. So you can see our coefficient are not constant. It's time periodic. And how can we define the reproduction number for the periodic system? I just use the theory developed in this paper. So basically, our linear system can be divided into two parts. One is the so-called new infection. F, the metric F. So metric F is related to the new infection. And the metric V is related to the so-called internal evolution. So you can see maturation or natural death. This mechanism is corrected in the metric V. Okay. And the V, this term is the birth rate. So we include this term in the new infection. Okay. And now we assume the YTX is the so-called evolution operator associated with this linear system. Then we can define the so-called next generation operator. So basically, roughly speaking, I assume phi is the initial state. Then this term represents the new infection. After the new infection, we can have some internal evolution. Okay, so this operator is the next generation operator. It was first proposed by Otto Dickmann and his co-author. And then we can define the reproduction number as the special radius of L. Or if it is a metric, probably you can just regard it as the eigenvalue. Okay, by its operator. So you have. Okay, I'm not going to show the detail, but here we cannot find the reproduction number by hand because it's the periodic, it's the operator. but we can calculate the reproduction number numerically. Okay. And here, this result shows in the trivial solution. Okay, the reproduction number. The reproduction number can determine the stability of the trivial solution. That's mean if this is the index is less than 1, then the trivial solution is locally asymptotically stable. If it's greater than 1, then the trivial solution is unstable. Okay, and we can further establish the following result. Here, if this index less than 1, then no mosquito. Okay, and if this index is greater than 1, then we can show there is positive periodical solution, and it's globally asymptotically stable. Doesn't mean we have the mosquito. Okay, so this is the first step. And now we are going to consider the disease-free solution. But for this disease-free solution, we assume, okay, if no mosquito, we don't need to discuss this step. But now we assume we have mosquito, so that means the mosquito reproduction number is greater than 1. Then we want to determine the disease-free equilibrium or state. Okay, so that means for this system, we assume the virus is equal to 0, and we can find some decouple equation. Okay, and then we can the disease-free equilibrium. Not when I say equilibrium because of the periodic system, disease-free state. Yeah, it looks like this one. It's the mosquito, and this is the susceptible bird. Okay, and now we linearize our flow system around this one. Then we can find a following linear system. Okay, and again, of course, it's very complicated because it's the delay equation. Okay, so again, we can combine the linear system into 2 parts. One is new infection, another one is the internal evolution. So we need to find a matrix. 2 matrix is F, another one is V. But because it is a delay equation, so the F now the F is the functional, is not a matrix. Okay. And we can have another matrix V, like this one. And again, we can define the reproduction number for the virus. Yeah. So in the initial state, and then this is a new infection. After new infection, they can have some internal evolution. So we can define the next generation operator, and the spatial radius is the reproduction number. And I show the result. The part 1 is yeah, R naught V represent the mosquito reproduction number. So in this one less than 1. This one less than 1 is less than 1. Then no mosquito, and of course no virus is reasonable. And the part 2. Okay, we have mosquito, but the disease index is less than 1. Then we can show we have mosquito, but we don't have the virus. Okay, but for the part 2, I need to emphasize I can some mathematical techniques. I can only study this case. This term represents the disease mortality. So if we ignore the disease mortality, then we can have this result. But if the mortality is greater than is positive, then I cannot put it. So probably if the mortality is not zero, then we cannot control the disease using the reproduction number. Okay, or probably we can have so-called backward propagation. I don't know, it's complicated. And for another case is if the disease index is greater than 1, then we can prove the disease will persist. Okay. I'm not going to show the techniques. But here, if the mosquito reproduction number is greater than 1, and the disease index is also greater than 1, then we can show this will show the Western Nile virus will persist. Okay. And I only have about 20 minutes. Okay, but this one is more complicated. I will not show the details. I just show my idea. So far, the model we mentioned is the delay equation without the spatial variation. Okay, but actually the mosquito and the bird they can move. So we need to include this movement, their movement. Okay, otherwise it doesn't make sense. And another question is about the so-called alternative host here. Okay, mosquito can bite the birds. Not only bite the bird, they can also bite other animals, right? So we need to include this mechanism into our equation. Okay, I will show you the difference later. And yeah, we also assume the larvae, because the larvae is in the river, so we assume they cannot move. And the mosquito, they can have a diffusion, they can diffuse with the coefficient. And the bird they can also diffuse. This is our assumption. Probably it doesn't make sense because probably we need to use the non-local diffusion, right? But probably is another it's the next project. Okay, I just show you actually the model are similar. Okay, but it's very complicated. The only difference is we include a diffusion.
You call it non-local diffusion, but you have a local diffusion.
But the local, we don't have local, yeah, we don't, but for the model we have local term here. But it's not a non-local diffusion.
I mean, even the DR diffusion term is a local diffusion.
Right.
So what you call non-local diffusion, but you don't have it.
No, in this model we don't have. Well, I mentioned probably we need to do it.
Oh, okay.
But should be in the next one. The project should be more complicated than this one due to the competitiveness. Okay, so the model we include the diffusion term and this term. M sub R is the total population of birds, and the L is the alternative host, because the mosquito can bite other animals. It's mathematically it should be more reasonable, and mathematically, if we introduce this term, it will be easier, because we don't worry about if this term will go to 0. So again, we can study the mosquito equation and then to define the index for mosquito. And I skipped it. Oh, here I need to mention is the difference. Another technique from the mathematical viewpoint. Because we in the previous model we don't include the spatial variation. And in the model we study the spatial variation. here. We had we had here, in the further equation, we don't have a diffusion term. Okay? I think the student from mathematics, this department.
Very less.
Okay.
Most,
Okay.
yeah,
Even
interdisciplinary.
okay. I'm not sure you have this you consider this result. Okay, given a sequence, if the sequence are constant, then if it is bounded, then we can find some subsequence, then you can converge, right? But if the sequence depends on space and it is bounded, we need to import other condition. Okay, then we can find some convergent subsequence. This is so-called competitiveness. Okay, that's because, and for this model, the first two equations we don't have diffusion term, so we don't have the competitiveness. So we need to overcome this mathematical problem. I'm not sure the detail. I just mentioned why do we introduce this measure? That's because we don't have the competitiveness. Okay, again, the result is similar to the previous one, but the mathematical argument are quite different. Actually, I work on this project, but actually I want to directly work on this this project in 2018. Okay, and then we faced some problem about the competitiveness. So we go back to we move the spatial variation, and then we first solve the previous model, and later we found some argument to overcome this problem. Then I will show some numerical result. Okay, the numerical result was done by my collaborator. So I'm not sure. I don't know how I don't know how she feed the data. I just show her result for you. So for the first model, the data is given in Los Angeles. It come from Los Angeles. Probably. I need a full screen. Not full screen.
Full screen.
Can I
Enter full screen.
But this one, it's not bad, not good.
Still better.
Okay. It's not easy to include it in the latest, so I'm lazy. Sorry. I try my best.
You take a snapshot in the latex. You take a snapshot picture and include as a picture.
Okay. Actually, you can find some data and the monthly temperature in Los Angeles, and he used probably he also some author also proposed the form of the biting rate and maturation rate, and my co-author who used the data and the form, the function, the form of functions to feed the biting rate and maturation rate and other parameters.
So these parameters are actually from the data?
Yeah. Yes. And some are fitting, and some data come from other paper.
Oh.
Yeah. You are the expert. No.
Oh.
And here, I mentioned the incubation is time periodic. It should also fit the incubation. Yeah. Okay, and here we can find some parameter, and we can numerically we can calculate the R naught numerically the production number, and for this one, R naught is greater than 1, and you can see the eventually in the long term there is the projected solution, and if R naught is less than 1, then in the long term they will die out. So it confirms our theoretical result.
Okay, that dead birds. That's dead birds means total dead birds.
Yeah.
It could be from West Nile and just naturally died, right?
Right.
Because that first data is monthly dead birds observed. But the dead birds means maybe both of them, right? Like by disease death as well as natural death.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
It's not easy to distinguish.
Unless you test sample and test in the lab.
Okay. Yeah, right. I know.
It's possible.
Some is okay. It's possible. Okay. Yeah, and I mentioned our model. We use the incubation is not a constant. Right, it's a time periodic. They will compare the difference. So we use the average. Okay, this is the average incubation. Then we can find the difference. Okay, for the simulation, and the only difference is the tau. One is time periodic, another one is a constant. The average using the average, and the other parameters are the same. And we can find a different result. And if we use the time periodic, for in case the time periodic case, R naught is greater than 1. But for average, average period incubation, then R naught is less than 1. So our result is here. If we use the constant incubation, we may underestimate the risk.
Okay, constant incubation, you mean in not variant with temperature?
Yeah, right. Our case we assume it depends on temperature. But in some model,
on time, right?
yeah.
And this is depend on temperature.
So does the time delay arise? Do you model maturation as a pure time delay?
Right. Okay. Yeah. I just to compare the difference between the tau T and the tau, constant tau. They can have different
You
results.
use the incubation period in both, right?
Yes.
Mosquito and bird.
Right.
Same
And
formula. Like a mosquito incubation period and bird incubation period, same.
different. You mean the period?
Yeah, I mean your data tau V
Different.
is in mosquito,
Yeah.
but in human also can have tau.
Right.
That's different.
Different.
Is it constant for human?
No, time periodic.
No, sorry, human. There's no human bird, but human and bird.
Time periodic. In our model,
But you have a data for mosquito only, right? Or you have a data for birds too.
I need to check.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Right.
But my point is,
Okay.
how long you take to be mature, like infectious? In a mosquito, may be different from bird.
Okay. I show we can discuss later.
Okay,
It's 5 years ago.
got it.
No, 6 years ago. And the final design is okay. Here, the sigma is the vertical is represent the vertical transmission. So you can see the R naught is greater than is increase when the probability is higher. So more is reasonable. It makes sense. More vertical transmission, then more risk. It makes sense. And the other one is this one is the R is and represent the recovery rate of bird. So if the recovery rate is and if the recovery rate increase, then the reproduction number is decreasing. Okay, so it should be make sense. But here, how we want to understand the dependence of the reproduction number on temperature. Okay, and you can find when the temperature increase, initially the temperature increase, then another increase. But if the temperature higher, then the reproduction number can decrease. So that's mean the mosquito because the mosquito like prefer some temperature.
When you say temperature, your mean temperature?
Yeah, mean temperature.
Because you have temperature goes like that, right?
Right.
So mean temperature, higher or lower?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay. As you like it.
Initially, I in Taiwan I present the theoretical results. But how do we explain? I think probably that's because the mosquito like some specific temperature.
Like it thrives better under at a specific.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My feeling.
Depends on the experiment, right?
It depends on.
Yeah, because in your experiment you have this, right?
Yeah.
So there is a preferred temperature for the mosquito to
Okay.
like become infectious in a reasonable, like if temperature is too cold or too hot,
Right.
they are not warmer or too cold, too hot, they won't get matured soon. In the perfect temperature, that's why you have maybe optimal temperature.
Okay.
That's from the experiment. I think your experiment looks like that, right?
Right.
So that's why.
And then my experience
yeah.
in Taiwan.
Okay.
Okay. And for a special model, the second model we include the spatial variation. We also my course also they found some data from Israel. Okay. And here I just mentioned this one. The dependence on the dependence of the reproduction number on the diffusion. Okay. So initially you can see it decrease. And then it's a constant. And we also have some data about here alternating host. If we have the if the alternative host increase, then of course the mosquito can buy other animals, right? So the another decrease. Yeah. And I think that's all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Questions? So in the diffusion also you have this, right? Just one slide before.
Yeah.
That means if mosquito and bird move, that's good.
Means
If they diffusion means they move, right?
right.
If they move, that's better. Because you have their releases, right? And maybe that makes sense. Because if it moves, infectious also moves. So there's no reason. Right?
Okay.
Well, does this assume sort of an outbreak model like the locusts where there's a reservoir of the virus? And because obviously if everything was infected at the same rate, it wouldn't matter whether it moved or not.
Oh, somewhere outside, so it's not considered like a other location. or
So you
something.
have you bounded in this region, you've got infection. And they're allowed to move out of that region. And that's the explanation.
But that if it's doesn't mean they are allowed to move out.
Well,
How within that, within the same domain, they are still staying in the same domain. What boundary condition you use? Neumann
No,
boundary.
even only condition.
So they are still, they are not allowed to move outside, but instead of concentrated in one place, they are allowed to move spread over the distance.
but that assumes that there's like a locus where there's an outbreak, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's why. Yeah, please.
The national agencies actually identify West Nile virus bird outbreaks. In other words, does somebody in the Middle East or wherever, or Taiwan, they have birds, and they decide that there's a lot of dead birds, and then they test them for West Nile virus, and then they say, yes, there's an outbreak now. And did they ever collate that with, let's say, mosquito? In other words, there's a lot of mosquitoes this year or something, and whatever, and then, so that's the first question. And then if that has an answer, then what do? Do you try and fit that data to the model and see what happens? And, okay, so I'm done.
Do they there is even not a problem in Taiwan, right?
This one is
No,
but
no.
mosquito is.
Yes, is the problem.
This is.
And the question is, do they collect, like when there is a bird and they test, they collect?
For the virus, yes.
Yeah, I think so. In New York also, in Ontario also, when I was.
I read some paper, yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Toronto, actually, some group, they were always talking about Western. And there's a river, and when there is a lot of bird died, and they do that kind of things there, yeah.
We can do it because the mosquito and the bird interaction.
But if a lot of birds die, then that's how they do? How do they know there is even outbreak? That's the question. I have the same question. How do they know if many birds die, they see, then they guess, oh, maybe it's West Nile, and then test, that's how they know?
Yeah, I in the for the Western Nile virus, yeah, I read some paper, yes, they just detect the death of birds. But I don't know.
And I was just wondering, that paper data, again, same question, you showed that LA County, Los Angeles County has a dead birds data collected. Maybe same thing like you mentioned, they might have collected. And how do they know that's related to West Nile virus?
I don't know.
I just maybe for no reason. Test. Do they test? Maybe they might have done, that's why, yeah.
I know in San Diego that there are farms like that are made and they have chickens that are not for consumption or eggs or anything like that. The whole use is that they're sentinel species. So every once in a while, they have the chickens there so that if there's West Nile in the area, the chicken will get infected, and they take the blood of the chickens and they test it like weekly or something like that. Like
Okay,
over
they
time.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a problem in San Diego? I did not.
I do remember reading about it in the
In
news.
North America.
San Diego, forget North America, right?
It's
Yes, it's basically North America, I know. Oh, if it is in San Diego, if you have a data, if they are collecting every week, then we are here.
Hospitals report West Nile virus.
Do they do, it's human, right? Human can be infected.
People can be infected, but he cannot transfer. He cannot.
Other way, cannot transfer other, so.
But in Taiwan, our case is dengue. Dengue is the interaction of mosquito and the human.
Dengue is of course, that by human and mosquito get infected,
Right.
that's dengue is clear, but here because bird is there,
But in the past year, dengue is very serious.
it is, it's everywhere in Asia, actually, it's a big problem.
But no Western Nile.
This is West Nile. Any more questions? Okay, usually, Jose is supposed to invite everybody to keep up the tradition, we can still go and be here if you want, you're welcome. Otherwise, let's see this. Still go here.
Okay.